Welcome back to the Mowers Club. Thanks to Winghouse, the best seats and beers always guaranteed. Next guest, Premiership winner with the Sharkies back in 2016. A lazy 262 games across his 15 seasons in the NRL. But he's found a new home in season 2025. He's off to Bondi, up there from Townsville. Welcome to the Mowers Club, Chad Townsend.
Morning, boys. Thanks for having us.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks for joining us. Now, mate, we've got to start off where we hoped to pick off last weekend, but you couldn't answer your phone. I believe you were undergoing some form of duress at an army camp. Is that right?
Massive dramas last week. We had a wrestle camp at the back end of the week, and didn't get much sleep on the Friday night. And I'd spoken to producer Mitch and said I was available, and then got home and just absolutely crashed out for about 4 hours. So my apologies for the inconvenience, but hey, we're here today. But I'll make sure it won't happen again.
How did it go, Chad? It's Scope here too, by the way. We were chatting a little bit about some of the army camps that I've been involved in. Was it a couple of days? You said, did you say a wrestling camp?
Yeah, Scope, that's it, wrestle camp. So it's new to me, to be honest, wrestle camp. I've never heard of it before. But yeah, last week it was just a one-nighter. We stayed in Allianz Stadium and had a few sessions, obviously wrestle sessions, and just went over a few things about Allianz Stadium and the importance of the history and what it means to the Sydney Roosters. And didn't get too much sleep over the night, obviously, but got a lot of work done, and it was an important part of our pre-season.
Whenever anyone asks me about parts that I miss or don't miss from footy, wrestling is by far the thing that I do not miss one part of. Chad, as you know, I was a great defender, mate, so the wrestle sessions. To do a wrestling camp, I reckon that is the worst thing that I could think of being a part of as a current player right now, mate. So I can understand you've been a bit fatigued on the Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's probably, when my time comes, when I'm finished up, I think that's probably one thing I won't miss either, to be honest. I think we're on the same page.
Hey, mate, you mentioned, it sounds like Robbo is starting to impart some of that history about the Roosters, obviously such a famous club, and he is really big on that, making sure that newer players, even though you've been around for, 15 seasons now, so you've been around the block, but he's still teaching everyone that comes through the door a little bit about that Roosters history. Just tell us what that has been like and what it sort of means to everyone at the club.
Yeah, it's been awesome, to be honest. I think since day one, just being in the facility, you can see the history everywhere. And then obviously, my first day getting the playbook and all the calls and everything, I'm reading through it, and it's entrenched with the past players and iconic places around the eastern suburbs. Obviously you got Bondi, Bronte, Tama, things like that with our calls. And obviously, I spoke about Allianz Stadium and the important role that's played with some of the past players. So I've definitely learned a lot about the Roosters and the history. And now that, when I'm on the field or I'm at training, I'm doing all these calls and I'm calling out great to the Roosters teams as our players. So it's a pretty cool moment, and Robbo's been really big on that.
Mate, we got a text coming in too, Chad. This is a good question because I probably would have asked this at the back end of the interview anyway. Hey, boys, question for Chad. Who is firing in the centres? Because of the movement of guys like the two Joeys, Joseph Suaalii, Joseph Manu, there's an opportunity for a number of players. Billy Smith, we've got Mark Nawika Nitawasi as well, who did well in the playing on the wing last year for the Roosters. Chad, are there any guys in that position, some sort of young guys that you can highlight or have impressed you so far?
Yeah, definitely, Scope. Look, I think some of the guys you just mentioned have all spent time there over the pre-season. Mark Nawanga Nitawase has been incredible, so athletic. We all saw that try he scored at the back end of last year. He spent some time in the centres. Young Robert Toya, who I know the club has some pretty big raps on. He's spent a lot of time there as well. He's got, elite footwork and speed and the ability to break tackles. So, you also chuck in Billy Smith as well. And then also Junior Ponga as well.
Yeah, so, I like him.
We've got some, some younger guys and some guys, obviously, as you mentioned, with the loss of, those two experienced and high quality centres, there's some opportunity there for these guys to grab those positions.
You've arrived at Bondi at a pretty interesting time for the Roosters, because I can't remember a time like this where they've experienced so much change in terms of the churn of roster and really experienced players. So you've arrived at a really important time, and I want to know, how has your Has your role or what you were sort of expecting of the Chooks changed from when you originally signed with them as to where we are right now, given there's been a few added injuries on top of that, and it's turned out to be a really shrewd signing of yourself. It sounds like you're going to be a really important part of the structure there in 25.
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously, the unfortunate injury to Sam Walker's, opened up a bit more of a door for myself. Regardless of the injury, my role is still the same. I signed with the Roosters knowing full well what I was joining up to, and I'm really excited to be there. And my goal at the end of the day was just to help the team win in any way that I can. I said to Robbo, I'm happy to play whichever position or whatever you need me to do. Just the opportunity to be involved with the Roosters was something that I was really excited about. But yeah, obviously, the unfortunate injury to Sam has opened up the door for me a little bit more. And, I'm just trying to focus on the things I can control and bring some of my experience and also my skill to my team, my personality, and just trying to keep my head down and do my work. Obviously, we have lost a lot of experience, and I feel like I've been around the traps for a while now. So hopefully I can, bring my experience and my, conversation and feelings to the team, and we can sort of evolve who we want to be in 2025.
You mentioned Sammy Walker there. There's also the Cheese in the exact same game. I seen Cheese posted on Instagram a little clip of him through the Roosters socials that he started running. I think Sammy was a part of it. How are they going in their rehab, those two? And would that be the first time that those two would have ran? Is that?
Yeah, they both started running scope. I think it was last week. They both sort of started running, just sort of the next step of progression in their rehab. I think Sammy's getting a bit over Cheese, to be honest. They've spent that much time together. I don't blame him. Yeah, I don't know how he'd spend that much time with Brandon. It'd be punishing, but I really feel for him. But obviously, great sign for us, and we expect them to be back at full fitness. I'm pretty sure some way through the early to mid parts of the season. So we'll see how they go.
It doesn't sound like you're surprised by the level of pest that Brandon Smith has got in him. But has anyone else really surprised you? Obviously, there's some big names there at the Chooks, but what's it like sort of, turning up to training and there's a James Tedesco pulling on the number 1 jersey? You've played with some obviously legends of our game. What's it like running alongside Teddy?
Yeah, Teddy's been excellent. Very professional. Always one of the first ones in. Always doing all of his extras. The time and focus he puts into his little skill parts of his game, whether it's catch and pass or a little bit of a grubber or his footwork or his catching under the high balls, has been really impressive to watch. And someone else who I've been really enjoying my time with is Victor Radley. Obviously a wealth of experience, but also his personality, his just ability to put a smile on the boys' faces and rip in and uphold the standards that the Sydney Roosters set has been really enjoyable to watch as well.
Yeah, the two guys I've been high on, or one of them I think's highly underrated in Nat Butcher. The other one who I think has a huge amount of potential is Egan Butcher, and I've seen that he just got re-signed for another couple of years as well too, Chad. So I know you haven't played with them yet, but what's it been like mixing and mingling with the Butcher brothers at the Roosters?
Yeah, it's been excellent at Scopes. Like Nat's locker's next to mine, so we've had a lot of conversations about life and about football. He's also got a young family, and Egan as well. I've been really impressed watching Egan. Some of his work he's put out throughout the preseason. He's coming back from an ACL injury last year, and some of the stuff he's put on and the efforts and the ability to sort of rotate between different positions and still do his job has been really impressive. And obviously, the club really see him as a big part of the future, giving him an extra 2 years, which is great to see.
We know that, playing halfback, you're obviously a bit of a student of the game, Chad. And we've got a question on the text line here that's saying, now that you're with the Roosters and know their calls, have you found yourself sort of looking back at your time, probably most recently at the Cowboys, and recognising some of the plays that they're calling and sort of wondering, gee, I would have loved to have known that back then?
Yeah, it's a weird thing, the calls and the field position. Obviously, pretty much every team runs the same plays with just different calls and things like that. But at the start of preseason, I found myself calling Cowboys plays in certain positions. I was like, I've got to kind of erase that from my memory. So it did. I will admit it did take a couple of weeks to kind of get it out of your head. But then once you've obviously you get it set in stone and things like that. It becomes kind of second nature. But yeah, it did take a little while there.
And I mentioned the Butcher brothers before, mate, because I actually see the Butcher boys. They play at the local. They play at the coast. And normally when me and you get together, mate, we talk very little footy and we talk more of probably our passion. We both love our golf. So how is the players' golf been now? For those that aren't aware, you got that with got a brand with Val Holmes, who's at the Dragons, and Drinky still waving the flag for you up in North Queensland. So how have you managed all that part of footy and enjoying your golf and still trying to put out some content?
Yeah, Scope, it's been good, to be honest. It's been obviously, Val, Drinky and myself, we bonded through the game of golf up in North Queensland, became really good mates and started our Players Golf Club. But now, Val lives 5 minutes from where I am in Sydney, and obviously Drinky's up in North Queensland. So I guess the brand is still continuing everything we've done with regards to our merch and our website. And whenever we go out to golf, we still try and get a few videos. The brand is an e-commerce brand, so everything's kind of done online. The only thing that Val and I haven't been able to do is just play golf with Drinky as much as we probably, used to, which is something I look forward to when, we get the chance. But yeah, at the moment, it's kind of business as usual. And as you know, Scope, a lot of athletes do play golf as their kind of outlet and away from sports in a way to sort of be competitive and clear their mind. So, love my golf, as you said, but, it's business as usual.
And mate, you're a bit of a pioneer in the content space in general, I suppose, with the podcast work you do. Scope is obviously, you've laid the platform for guys like Serp and Mace. They're airborne with levels and stuff. Is the Chad Townsend podcast? I'm sure that's coming back bigger and better.
Yeah, so I'm actually excited to probably share with you guys. I'm bringing it back. I'm going to do it weekly this season.
Oh, awesome. There we go. Breaking news on the Mowers Club.
Yeah, just hired a producer and a space down in the Shire. So we're going to try and do something, early on in the week and, have a bit of fun with it. Look, I love sports content and I love obviously what the boys do with levels and there's a numerous other guys and, I think just trying to be myself with my own ideas and at the end of the day, I love the game and I love that space and, I know I can bring the game forward with, some of my thoughts and experiences and, just looking to bring my own sort of dynamic to it and have some fun and learn along the way and, see what happens. So it'll be on YouTube and all those other audio things, but, it's exciting.
No, beautiful. That's good to hear. All right, well, we're going to be keeping our eyes peeled, definitely on field with all the good things that you're going to do with the Roosters. Such an important signing for them in season 2025 and beyond as well, but also off the field with the content stuff. Thanks very much for joining the Mowers Club this Saturday morning, Chad Townsend.
Thanks, boys. Appreciate it. Oh, by the way, I think I'm just about to actually start up the mower too.
There we go.
I love it.
Beautiful.
Club, so
right on cue.
Love that.
Thanks, Chad.
Boys.